Hi, Dawn Levine here, and today we're going to talk about Italian drivers. Oh my Lord, y'all. You're just not going to believe it. So I know that everybody thinks the drivers where they are the worst. Oh, the drivers here are terrible. No, y'all just don't understand. It's a whole different level of crazy in Italy. We just recently went to Italy for a 3 week trip, and I've seen bad drivers. I've been to Miami, but I was not prepared for how crazy the drivers are there. Our first introduction occurred right away. So we left the airport in Rome. We hired a private car to take us to our hotel. The airports they're often very far from the city that you're trying to get to. It was 45-minute drive from the airport to our hotel in the center of Rome. And God bless this guy. He drove like a maniac, and there was nothing unique about him. This was the repeated experience that we saw time and time again. But we were, driving down the highway. We're going, 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour. And he's talking to my husband who knows some Italian. They're chit-chatting, and the guy was excited to talk to him. Hey, oh, look at this American who knows Italian. And he was talking about things, and he would take both of his hands off the steering wheel and just be making gestures for, 15 seconds, 20, it seemed like an eternity, no hands on the wheel. And I'm in the back seat saying, oh no, please put your hands back on the wheel. Oh my gosh, please stop talking. Put your hands back on the wheel. Oh my gosh. And if you were on a straightaway and the traffic was not thick, maybe that wouldn't be a big deal. Except that all the other drivers, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of traffic. And all the other drivers are just as crazy and aggressive. They're whipping in and out of traffic. They're riding each other's bumpers. The traffic is just crazy. At one point, I just said, Jesus, take the wheel. I can't look. I just stopped watching out the window, and I just started looking at my phone, because looking at what was going on in the front seat and out the window I can't help it. I can't fix it. I'm just going to sit back here in ignorant bliss and not look. So that was kind of alarming. I tried not to let it get to me too bad, but we saw that same pattern all over Italy with every driver that we had. I mean, some of them were not quite as hands off the wheel as this guy, but they often would talk with gesturing, and hands were not on the wheel from time to time. And they did drive very aggressively, whipping in and out of lanes and riding people's bumpers. And, to their credit, the traffic patterns in Italy in some places are kind of strange. When we were in Rome, there was one, this was not unique, but there was one intersection in particular that I remember where there were like 6 or 7 different roads coming in from different directions. It would have made sense for it to be a traffic circle, except it wasn't. It was just this huge open expanse of asphalt, no lines, no lights, no direction. People would just go for it. And that was the only way to get across. It was just insane to watch. Luckily, I wasn't in the middle of that. I was up on a rooftop watching it. And it was amazing that there were no accidents, because you've got little scooters coming through there and buses, and everything's going in all different directions. And there's, like I said, no lines on the road, no clear direction. If there were rules about who had the right of way, I have no idea. Didn't seem readily apparent from watching it. It was just kind of crazy. And Italian drivers also, from a pedestrian's point of view, again, crazy. So it just seemed there were a lot of places where there was no crosswalk, or there was a crosswalk, but there were no lights to really control the flow of traffic. And, we would watch Italians to see what they were going across the street. How are they doing it? They would just walk right out in front of a car and the cars would all stop. And so we learned that if we were going to get across the street, we kind of had to do the same thing. So for me, I would kind of wait until, there was some person who knew more about what they were doing, and I would just kind of follow them across the street. My son really just jumped right into the hang of things, and he would just walk right out in front and understand that the cars were going to stop. It was, kind of like if you show any sign of weakness, they're going to take advantage and just keep going. But if you just walk across like you know what you're doing, they'll stop. It was a leap of faith somewhat, but just be prepared for that. If that makes you queasy, like it makes me queasy as far as being the pedestrian, you can just keep walking until you see a better place to cross the street. But just be aware that that's how the Italians do it. They just walk right out. And if you're in a crosswalk, just walk right out and the cars will stop. And just be prepared for the crazy drivers. I don't know how every car we saw was not completely banged up, but somehow they make this work. So just be prepared. If you're a nervous Nelly like me, you might have to sit in the back seat and just decide that I'm not going to look. I'm going to live in ignorant bliss, and I'm just going to look at my phone, not looking out the window, not looking in the front seat. So just be prepared for that. So hopefully you found this helpful, and I hope you will subscribe, hit the like, and do all the things. And I look forward to talking to you again on future episodes. Ciao.